welcome to the Douglas on My Mind show. I'm Blondell Thomas, the City of Douglas Public Information Manager, and we'll be right back after this. We're going to start this month's Douglas on My Mind segment off with a previously recorded segment from Coffee Calls for Paws last month. Their Pups on Parade dog show and adoption event is coming up on June the 5th, so we just wanted to share that information again with all our viewers, and we hope you enjoy it, and we'll be right back after this quick segment. So I am here now with Miss Deborah Walker and Shelley Yeomans with the Coffee Calls for Paws, and they are here to tell us about a great event that's coming up. I know we've talked about for years, even with Mr. Johnny Wilkerson a few years back, we talked about why doesn't Douglas have a dog show? Well, y'all kind of answered that for us.
We
so
have.
Tell us what's coming up.
We've got a huge event coming up on June 5th.
Okay.
And it's called Pups on Parade.
Oh.
And it's going to be a dog show for open to the public. Okay. So we want everybody to enter the dog show that wants to. There's going to be 10 different categories. Okay, and they're cute categories. We can list those off if you want to.
Okay.
But anyway, it's going to start at 10 o'clock that morning. It's going to be at Central Square, okay, in the gym, in the big gym. And we're going to have concessions. We're going to have pet-related vendors. We're going to have a vendor doing nail trimming and filing, you know, on dogs. We're going to have anybody that sells different types of pet supplies, pet outfits, you know, things like that. They're going to be there with tables set up. The dog show, we want it to be entertaining for the public. We're doing it on the same day as the Main Street Market. Okay. So we hope that that just brings, you know, tons of people in. Yeah. And we're going to have an adoption event immediately after the dog show. Okay. So the way it's going to work is the dog show's at 10. Just before the dog show starts, we're going to parade the people that have adopted from Coffee Calls for Paws. Okay. So they're going to kind of get showcased. And then we'll have the dog show. And in between, we're going to have some door prizes we'll be calling out. You know, people have tickets, things like that. And then at the end of the dog show, we're going to have all of our available foster animals, which will be only dogs. No cats will be at the event. But all of our available dogs will be paraded through the ring, and then they'll go to the adoption area because our adoption event is immediately after the dog show. Okay. Well, so it's going to be a huge, huge event, you know, we hope.
Calling all dog lovers.
All dog lovers. Yes. Yes. Come show off your pet. Show off your pet.
And then possibly take one home too.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Exactly. You mentioned that the dog show is open to the public. Is there like a fee, or is it a donation? Because this is a fundraiser.
Yes, it is a fundraiser because it costs a lot of money to take care of these rescues. And we are using this or having this as a fundraiser. Okay. We're asking for people that want to come and see the dog show and come into the gym. We're asking for a minimum of $1 donation.
$1, yes.
I mean, that's it.
You can count 4 quarters out.
I mean, if you have children that are 8 or under that want to come, they're free.
They're free.
But we're asking for $1 donation for anybody, you know, 8 and older.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Can people bring their own personal pets? Are they allowed? Or as far as like if they're not in the parade, are y'all letting people? I mean, I guess they're called
yeah, you can bring your pets.
You bring your pet. Okay. I was trying to think of the word. It's the animals that you have to have the certificate for. What are those animals called?
Emotional support
support animals. My mind just went totally blank.
Service animal.
Maybe I need my service animal today for my brain. But anyway.
No, we're going to have vendors there that we're going to be trimming nails, and we're going to have treats that are available. And so we you're welcome to bring your own pet.
Okay.
You know, we just ask that you keep them on a leash.
Right.
Make sure that they are up to date on their shots, and just to be, you know, aware of your surroundings and other dogs around, you know.
Right.
So.
And make sure that the pets are definitely pet friendly or
Yeah, dog
coexisting friendly.
Right,
Yeah, you don't
right.
want one that's going to get
And
upset.
all
or
of that
anything.
is in the application
Okay.
that they complete if they're entering the dog show.
Right.
You know, all of the rules and everything, we give them a copy of that. But people that want to, say they're walking around, you know, the Main Street Market area or whatever, there at the
Right.
Central Square, and they're like, well, I want to come in here with Fido, you know, or whatever.
Exactly.
You know, they give a donation, they're welcome to come in.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
absolutely.
All right. Wonderful. Well, back to the dog show. What is the deadline to enter one of those fur babies in your competition?
We're trying to cut it off on June 1st.
June 1st.
On
okay.
June 1st, if you try to enter your dog after June 1st, we are assessing a $10 late fee.
Okay.
Because there's a lot to get ready, and we need to know
yeah.
how many, you know, that we're planning for.
So don't
but
wait till
June
the last
1st is our cutoff time.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
June the 1st. And where do they get the registration forms from?
They can email, which we have a separate email set up now
Okay.
for Pups on Parade. It is CCFP for Coffee Calls for Paws.
Okay.
Pups, P-U-P-S, on Parade @gmail.com.
Okay. All right.
So they can email that, or they can send the request to that email. We also have our regular email, coffeecallsforpaws@gmail.com.
Okay.
I work at Story Wealth Management Group. I'll have applications I can give to people.
All right.
More Than Graphics, where Carol Sweat, you know, runs More Than Graphics.
Right.
She'll have applications for people. So we have plenty of ways that people can get the registration forms.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. And how can the community and surrounding areas like come in and help support this event?
We need sponsors.
Sponsors.
We need sponsors, and we have a wonderful wide range of sponsorship, and I'm talking to the community now.
Yes.
We have Bulldog, Shepherd, Hound, and Terrier sponsorship, and that means it's $1,000. You can do $500, you can do $250, or you can do $100.
Right.
So you have all types of levels that you can sponsor. If you're a business and you want to get, you know, I know you can't see this, but there's a lot of neat things that you get for your sponsorship, including your names on the back of our t-shirts, on our banners. You'll get signs. I mean, there's all kind of nice perks that you get with your sponsorship. So we need sponsorship. Anybody that is a that has concessions, you know, we're going to have like not major big concessions, but we're going to try to have snacks, pizza for the
Right.
kids, you know, things like that. So if you want to, you know, if you want to be a vendor, if you have anything that's related to pets or could be related to pets and you want to come and be a vendor, we're not charging. If you sell something, all we're asking is for a percentage.
Right.
And that's totally up to that vendor.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
We
You know.
consider it like a donation.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah. And then
Again,
of course
it's
we
just a
would
fundraiser.
love for another way for them to support us is just come.
Just come.
out.
Exactly.
Enjoy. You know, we really want it to, you know, be a success. You know, first time us ever doing this, we have no idea just how big this is going to be.
Right.
But we hope for a great turnout.
Right.
So,
We'd like to do this annually if we can.
Yes.
That would be good.
Depending on the turnout, hopefully it's just goes beyond our expectations, and we'll do it again. You
Right.
know, so because we've had wonderful support already from volunteers in the community, the planning committee for the dog show. They've been wonderful as well. So
Okay.
we just want to continue to, you know, get the support and come out and enjoy.
Yep. And now, one thing that we just talked about for a second is your T-shirts.
Yes.
Let's see your T-shirt. We've got a model today. Yes, the T-shirts are really
Uh-oh.
cute. I
This
thought
looks
and it looks like it's made out of that really soft material, but they are really cute. And then the back of the shirt is what I really like the best. The little pups on parade is.
See all the
really
little puppy
cute.
dogs?
Yep. So if somebody wants to support you through just purchasing a T-shirt, what should they do?
They can reach out to More Than Graphics.
Okay, More Than Graphics
And
has the
Carol will
T-shirt.
make sure that they get a T-shirt.
All right,
Yes.
all right. You
Yes.
didn't know you were going to be a model today, did you? But that worked out good. Well, back to the dog show. How many categories, or what are your dog show categories?
We have 10 dog show
10.
categories.
Wow.
It's $10 to enter each category.
Okay.
Okay. So if you wanted to enter 2 categories, it'd be $20.
Okay.
Okay. And the categories are tallest dog, tiniest dog, wackiest hair, best smile, best trick, quirkiest ears,
Aw.
wiggly butt, golden oldie, most obedient, and looks most like the owner.
Oh, gosh. That would be too cute. And I can say that I have a brother whose dog, and it is hilarious, but if she thinks you're getting on to her, she'll just fall over and play dead. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this is crazy. I can't believe it. But I know a couple of dogs that could qualify for the wiggly butt, and I mean, it would just be, I'm sure this is just going to be a fun day of different things going on, especially if you like animals. It doesn't
Exactly.
necessarily have to be just dogs. I mean,
Right.
if you love animals,
If you're an
period.
animal lover, you will enjoy coming and watching the dog show and enjoying everything that's going to be going on that event during that day.
Well, what kind of prizes are you offering, or are you offering prizes this year?
Well, for the winners of the dog show, they're going to get like a big rosette ribbon,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
just like a famous
real.
dog show. Yeah. Like what Westminster, you
Yes.
know, they get the big ribbon. As far as door prizes, that's going to be a surprise.
Okay, yep. Whatever people will donate, that'll work. That will work. Will people be able to adopt the dogs or the animals that day, right after the show? I know you spoke about that.
We'll have applications, and somebody will be there. At least a couple of people from our volunteer group. They will be there where all the adopted, adoptable animals will be.
Okay.
And we'll have applications, and as long as, you complete the application and everything looks good, then you can adopt that dog either that day or at least within the next few days if we need to approve the application.
Okay, all right. Well, that sounds really good. Is there anything else you'd like to share with everyone? Shelley or Deborah?
think we
anything?
got it.
Yeah.
We just want everybody to come out and
Come out.
support. Just
That's
support,
right.
support. If you want to be a sponsor, contact us on email. If you want to be a vendor, contact us on email. If you want to be a volunteer, if you want to help with the dog show or the event, please contact us.
Okay.
Again, it's ccfppupsonparade@gmail.com.
Okay, all right. Well, I hope, since everybody's going to be downtown anyway that day, that they come by and stop by and visit y'all at
I
Central
hope so.
Square. And,
I hope
and
so.
I think it's going to be a fun and great event.
I think so too.
Maybe
we
an
hope
annual,
so.
we hope.
We hope.
That's right.
Yes, we hope.
All right, well, we appreciate you being here.
Thank
and thank you
you.
both
Thank
for being
you.
here.
Thank
and
you.
We'll talk to you a little later.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Douglas on My Mind show. I'm here today with Miss Cindy McNeil. She is the Land Bank Authority Chairman, and we're glad that you could be here today.
Thank you, Blondell. Thank you for having me.
We're here today, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Land Bank Authority, what it is, how you got started, and things like that. So if you don't mind, just share with everyone what the Land Bank Authority is.
Well, thank you. I appreciate this opportunity, and I think we've come before you in the past, maybe a few years back, so we
Right.
appreciate the opportunity to come back to share a little more of our success story, and then to hopefully encourage folks to listen out, to look in the newspaper for articles that we may have, and to just be dialed in to listen for LBA or Land Bank Authority notes. So what I'd like to let y'all know early on here, we had it was formed by the state of Georgia several years ago. I think it was
Right.
like in 1991 that
Okay.
the state actually came up with this idea and offered it to communities rather in the state. And several very, very forward-thinking communities jumped on board with it and loved the idea that they could take vacant, blighted properties, delinquent properties, tax delinquent properties, and turn them into income-producing properties again.
Right.
So they took, in the formation of the Land Bank Authority, we were given the authority, or they were given the authority early on, to acquire properties.
Okay.
And to, I like the term they use, Blondell, they say extinguish
Oh,
the tax delinquencies.
okay.
So what you find in a lot of small communities, as you and I know, for example, in Douglas and Coffee County, we realize there are properties that are either inherited by family members that may live out of state, or they may be, for one reason or another, the tax situation on them, the property tax situation may be very upside down.
Right.
For whatever reason. And these properties a lot of times become the eyesores in town. Or
Right.
they become the some that's not so well kept.
Right.
So what we want to do, and we notice this in our communities, a lot of times the first sign of not, and I hate to use the term neglect, but the first sign of something that might be an opportunity is when, of course, there's not a car in the driveway.
Right.
The house goes unoccupied for several years, not just months, but years. And property owners don't seem to have that sense of pride.
Right.
A lot of times those properties coincide with the tax digest, with property, income properties, or tax situations that have not been paid a few years.
Right.
So the Land Bank Authority, we patterned our mold or our bylaws and our local chapter of this, or not chapter rather. This is actually a 501c3
Right.
organization, nonprofit, but therefore
Because your intent is not to make money off of these properties.
Right,
You're
that is actually the truth. What we want to do is get them back into an income-producing situation,
Right.
get them back in the hands of somebody who'll take pride in them. And, we have a 5-member board right now. I
Okay.
serve as chairman. I came about that very humbly just as a city commissioner who was concerned about this. And, saying I wanted to make Douglas and Cobb County the kind of community our children would want to come back to.
Right.
And owning rental property in Douglas, I realized the neighborhoods some of them were going down, and some of it was due to this. So
Okay.
we have since taken, we started in 2016. We got off to a very slow start because we didn't quite know what we could do, what we'd be
Right.
allowed to do. And it took some people believing in us and donating some properties for us to start selling these and turning these around. Fortunately, they were properties that didn't require a lot of what should we say,
Maintenance or
renovation.
upkeep.
Yeah, we didn't have to go and level anything or
Okay,
anything
good.
like that. And as Blondell said, we're not in this to make money. We're not in this to do anything. Nobody on the board. We're blessed to have a realtor on the board. We have someone at the county has an appointee.
Right.
The school board, because the city, the county, and the school board are the three entities, or the three folks that are most affected when the tax digest drops.
Right.
When people aren't paying property tax, that affects what we can do in the city and county for you. So we like to hear from everybody. We like to have board representation from that. We hope that, like I said, with the 5 or 6 properties we've taken on and sold, that we've done, a great job with that. There's been some
Right.
publicity in the newspaper about it. We've been featured in the Land Bank Authority, the Georgia Land Bank Authority magazine, their publication.
That's really good
Georgia
considering
Trend
you
has done some stuff.
are just now getting your feet good and wet. Yeah.
Right. And again, community development, Ms. Georgia Henderson and her department, your department, does a great job, I think, with
She does.
publicity for us and everything.
So if you're looking at a property or whatever, or if someone approaches the Land Bank Authority, how do you donate property? I mean, what
That's a
is the
good
process
question.
for doing that?
That's a good question, and it's very easy to do. Again, what we require, we do have some cost in legal fees.
Right.
Because a lot of times, we have to do a title search, or we have to make sure that that it can be donated. But the great thing about that I'd like to remind everyone is that the properties they donate, they can write off their tax also in many
Right.
cases. That would be up to them and their accountant, the amount they write off. But we've had some folks who, for whatever reason, maybe they were fearful that adjoining property owners could be in a buying situation for it, or it might be uncomfortable. Maybe it was just a property that was, in the case of just a misfit,
Right.
size-wise, or may not be actually zoned for what the person's intentional or what they bought it to use it for.
Right.
We can come in, and as a land bank authority, we can take that property and rezone it and do something else, hopefully do something else with it, or have it for, have it beautified and everything. We aren't in the process or don't have enough money now
Right.
to flip them. We'd love to do
Exactly.
redo homes and flip them, sort of, but right now that's up to the property owner. The property buyer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I do know let's see, how many properties have been donated to the Land Bank Authority so far?
5.
5, okay.
And they've all sold.
And they've all
They
sold.
sold very quickly.
That's
And
good.
there again, those are advertised for sale. There's no gain on our, from anybody in that.
Right.
The realtor who serves on our board is Mr. Benny Dockery, and there's Mr. Benny doesn't charge anything. He doesn't, he's not part of the negotiating part of
Right.
a sale of something. What we like to have, though, from him is just his expertise and his experience, because he's been in the community so long.
Okay.
There again, other members of the community that are involved in real estate, either in in accounting, or
Right.
we look to them for legal advice and try and get this done as cheaply or as economically as we possibly can.
Exactly. So people can donate, they can donate a house and the property, or can it also just be the property?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
And there again, sometimes it's a situation where there are, 2 or 3 heirs that just get together and say, or they don't want to keep it up any longer.
Right.
They don't want to pay the property tax. And if the taxes are in arrears, if there's something that we can look at perhaps extinguishing
Right.
and working with the county's willing to do that oftentimes in hopes of getting it back on the tax digest.
Exactly.
To someone who can do something with it.
Because
So-
it benefits them. And it also benefits economic development wise, because when you have these developers coming into town looking for somewhere to bring their business, you don't want
That's
vacant
right.
or blighted properties
right.
like what
That's
you're
right.
saying. What are the plans, the properties that have been donated and sold so far? What have been those property owners' plans? People that have purchased them.
One of our early success stories was just a little, for lack of a better term, unloved property.
Right.
In a community that had several, housing issues and stuff. And we had a young guy who bought it
Right.
and remodeled it and just turned it into a precious home now that's a family home.
Okay.
And, so he did it and made money. And so, we're certainly not against that either.
Right.
We-
And the properties
that's
are
fine.
normally listed below, if somebody does have the
Below.
opportunity to come in and flip a house and then resell it, they will definitely get their money back out of it. Right.
Right. What we try and determine, again, people say, how are y'all going to use this money? What do you do with the money? Well, right now, again, we're not in the process or we're not in the position to buy property ourselves. But what we do is we will look for asbestos. We'll look for things that could be hazardous, or we'll
Okay.
mow the property or pay to have it cleaned up.
Right.
And make it attractive enough that a buyer would be interested in
Right.
it.
And that
Could see
costs money.
potential. That costs money, yes it does. So
Exactly.
we try to manage these resources very frugally.
Well, I know a couple of because I'm normally the one that takes your picture whenever we're able to sign off on everything.
Yes.
A couple of the properties were just land-based, and then there were a couple that were homes, and then one young lady, I think her intentions are to turn it into possibly a duplex or like 2 apartments or something. So, we're definitely, it's being returned back to the community
It
in
is,
good shape.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there again, I'd encourage anybody who's interested in this, especially, young entrepreneurs, someone who's, even someone who's just building a resume and thinks if you think you might like to serve on the Land Bank Authority, I would encourage you to look into this. And this is a great way to find out what's going on in the community. As Blondell said, folks who are coming here, who are bringing businesses here, are looking for places that look successful.
Right,
For
right,
places
exactly.
that you don't want to drive through town, even the commercial areas of downtown, you don't want to see vacant buildings and
Right.
places like that if we can help it.
Yes.
But
All right, we had already touched on this. There's no properties currently available for anyone to look at. Is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
Okay, so once properties are listed, how does someone go about making an offer or trying to purchase that property? What do they do?
Well, we ask that that they reach out to our community development department
Right.
and let them know. And there again, it's done through a bid process.
It's a process.
So everything is very, everything is done by the book. We might say we didn't write the book; we're just following someone else's map.
Right.
Here. And again, there are lots of Georgia land banks within the state of Georgia. We've looked at Macon, Bibb County, Thomasville, Georgia. Some of your again, more forward-thinking communities
Right.
are doing this and doing it very successfully. So I hope years from now, when I'm not chairman, when I retire,
If they ever let you not be chairman.
I can see this being something that could be very, again, it will be something that will be on the hearts and minds of all of our accountants in Douglas, where there's heir properties, and I say heir, not AIR, but HEI,
Right.
where people are inheriting things. That this would be an opportunity for them to get the tax benefit of donating this.
Right, right.
You know,
And when the property is listed, there is like a bid process, like what you were explaining, and the city does put the word out. I mean, we run some ads in the
Right.
newspaper, we put it on our website, and there is a land bank page that's located on our website too, if
Yes.
anybody just
Oh, okay,
occasionally
great.
wants
I'm
to
glad
check that.
glad
Yep.
you reminded me of that, because I sometimes forget that. But and you can just Google Georgia land banks and
Okay.
see. There's a lot of things on there, the bylaws, the information, and if you have any legal questions, if any of you out there have any legal questions or anything about it, we'd love to help you.
Answer
Love to
those
have you on
questions, that's
board,
right.
And love to have you come to some of our meetings. So.
Okay. Now, we kind of touched on how the land bank uses the money from the sale of the properties, and we talked about how you do not keep it, for any type of gain. But let's just say if there is a property that's donated and it has an old house on it, and that house possibly needs to be demolished, does that cost fall on the previous property owner or the person that's
not
donating?
Not at all.
Okay.
That again is something that we as board members negotiate.
Okay.
And work out the details of that to see if it's if we as a group think it's in the best interest of the property and
Right.
the tax digest to do that, to
Okay.
remove the structure that's already there, and again, hopefully allow somebody else to have vision for something else. So,
Okay. Okay, well, would you like to share with everybody for more information? Who should they contact and find out more information about the Land Bank
There
Authority?
again, if you'll give them the phone number, again, the Community Development Department for the City of Douglas is who I would recommend you call. And
That phone number is 912-383-0277.
see, I would give you probably Blondell's phone number, her personal phone number,
Yeah.
so she'll direct that to
Right.
Yeah, no, she does. These ladies and gentlemen do a great job, and because this is kind of like, it takes a village, one of those scenarios,
Right.
and that it does to make this work. But again, I see it as a very once Douglas and Coffee County. We've had a lot of restrictions with COVID. We've had some challenges meeting and some issues, like that. We're trying to kind of come away from that now and get back onto with a tax sale schedule, and put some of those properties, just call some accountability here
Right.
to the property owners in Douglas and
Right.
Coffee County, and say, here are your options.
Yeah.
You know, offer this as an option, offer us as an option. It's funny because, Blondell, you and I got used to donating to the Salvation Army and Goodwill and
Right.
places like that years ago. You know, originally it was like, why would you want to do that? Because you could have a garage sale.
Right.
Well, you donate because you place the value of what you're donating out there.
That's right.
And you receive the benefit of that at tax time. That's the way this is too.
That's
you know,
right.
and folks have seen that and come to realize that after a few years. So
So in other words,
been a
if
win-win.
you don't want the property and you don't want to take care of it, just give us a call and we can see if we can
that's
help
right.
them.
That's right. That's right.
That's true.
We promise you'll be proud of our efforts here. So
That's right.
Thank you.
And I am very proud of what the young man, like you were speaking, the young man, I've been by the house and taken a picture, and I actually looked at it before and after, and it is just, he has done an awesome job.
Yes,
Awesome.
He has. He has. So,
All right. Well, I appreciate you being on
Thank
today,
you.
and we
Thanks
will
for
have to have
having me.
someone back soon to tell us more.
Great.
Hopefully you'll get a lot of land donations or property donations after this.
Absolutely. I'm positive about that. So
All right.
Thank you. Thanks
We'll
for
be
having
right
me.
back after this. Hi, and welcome back to the Douglas on My Mind show. I'm here now with Mr. Roger Goddard, our city marshal for the city of Douglas. Thank you for being here, Roger.
No problem. Call me anytime.
Seems like we just talked about this. I know.
We did.
When I asked you to come on the show, but we have a very important deadline coming up that we need to definitely make people aware of, and that deadline is
Business license,
business license and your occupational
tax certificate.
tax certificate or business license. Deadline is what day?
It's May 31st.
May 31st, and that's for all City of Douglas businesses, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, in case somebody may be a little confused, the business license renewal deadline was extended this year to May the 31st.
Correct.
And then there was also another extension added to that. Tell everyone about that extension.
Well, the city ordinance says if you owe a past due debt to the city or the county, that you cannot renew or obtain a occupational tax certificate, which everybody knows is a business license.
Right.
And so what the city did due to the pandemic, they extended the time limit to get all your past due debts paid and
Okay.
taken care of.
Okay.
I had many business owners and business locations that wasn't able to pay their taxes,
Right. To
So-
pay their back taxes.
back taxes.
But
Correct.
you still have to get that business license by May the 31st.
Correct. If the deadline, is May the 31st. If not, you're subject to a $500 fine.
Okay. All right. And they're like a 10% penalty per day or
There's
something like that.
administrative 10%
Okay.
penalty for not attaining it by the 31st.
Okay. All right. So as of June the 1st, I hope you have your business license, because if not, chances are you may have a penalty or a fine tacked on to the business license fee.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So moving on from the business license, summer is coming up. It's already getting hot outside, and actually this Friday is the last day of school. So we've got a lot of kids that are going to be out running around, and parents that will continue to work. One thing I wanted to ask you before we get into all that, though, is what is one of the most often called about problem that you have during the summer months concerning like homeowners and things like that, or
People
property?
not cutting their grass.
Not cutting your grass, all right. And so if you have an overgrown lot, or if you're letting grass grow up around an area on your property, that could be a code violation.
It is.
Okay.
City ordinance says that you cannot have any noxious weeds or such growing that's more than 12 inches
Okay.
tall. The reason being, especially in the summer months, the kids are going to be out. You have high grass, you're going to start having a bunch of rodents going around,
Right.
such as rats, then the snakes come. So you definitely want to protect your kids from the snakes.
And snakes and all other kind of critters. I heard this morning you talking about someone called over the weekend and had a possum in the house. So
That
I
is
mean,
true.
yeah, you don't want any critters in your house. So keep those yards mowed. If somebody has an old junk car, that's That's also a code violation, correct?
It is. City ordinance said that you cannot have an unregistered or junk motor vehicle in your yard for more than 30 days.
Okay,
Also, again, with that, you start attracting rodents, snakes, wasp nests, and such as that around the vehicles. And that can
Okay.
be a danger to your child.
or to you.
Or yes,
You
definitely.
could hurt yourself trying to get away from it.
That is correct.
Now, moving on to the summer things with the kids being out. I know last year we went through a lot with trying to get the word out about the golf cart ordinance and where people could and could not ride a golf cart and what age they had to be. And I believe y'all actually instigated or implemented, not instigated, but implemented some guidelines, and people have to get a golf cart permit now.
That is correct.
All right, share with everybody some information about that.
If you would like to get your golf cart where you can operate it on the roads, there's certain equipment that you need to have on your golf cart,
Okay.
such as a flashing amber yellow light. If kids are going to be on it, you got to have seat belts. You got to have a working horn. If you're going to operate it after sundown, you need to have turn signals, headlights, tail lights, just like you would for a motor vehicle.
Okay, do you have to have a tag, like a vehicle tag?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
You don't have to register it, but you will have to get a decal from us.
Okay,
And once you get all the required equipment, then we can give you a brochure, or you can contact my office, and we'll let you know exactly what you have to have.
okay,
And once you get all the equipment, we'll come by and inspect it, and then we'll issue you a golf cart permit. It costs $35 for 3 years.
oh, okay, well, that's not bad at all,
No.
opposed to, riding on the road and not having it.
Correct.
What is the age that someone can drive a golf cart on a city or a DOT allowed street?
Okay, on state highways, you're not allowed to operate a golf cart.
Okay,
You're only allowed to cross the state highways, and only at certain intersections.
okay,
And that's the intersection you see that has the golf cart sign placed just before the intersection.
okay, it's the bright yellow golf cart, right?
Correct. And you have to have a driver's license to operate a golf cart. You have to go by the same restrictions as what your license allow you to drive
Okay,
in a car.
okay. So that tells you right there, a 13-year-old should not be on that golf cart on a street or a road or whatever.
That's correct.
Right.
You're required to have a driver's license.
Okay, good. Now, when it gets hot over the summer, I know animal control is also a division that you supervise. What kind of problems do you see as far as, and I can only imagine, I hope everybody takes care of their pets, because they have a special place in my heart, but anyway, I know sometimes people don't.
Correct.
So what are some of the things that you experience over the summer as far as people taking care of their pets or animals that are outside?
Having proper shelter.
Okay.
Where the dogs can have a place to get out of direct sunlight, have some shade, to have adequate water where they can drink when it is hot, and
Okay.
staying hydrated.
Okay. Now, if one thing that we did last year and we thought it was real cute was we went and bought one of those little plastic pools and filled it up. I think it was $10 or $15 and filled it up with a little bit of water and let the dogs get in that so they didn't get too hot.
That's a good idea. And also, if you have dogs that will knock over their water source,
Okay.
or say your bucket or their water bowl, I would encourage people to dig a little divot in the ground or a little hole, put
Okay.
the bucket down into the ground or their pot down in the ground. That way, when they walking by playing in the pen, they don't knock over their water. Because, if you're going to work, you're going 8 to 9, 10 hours, sometimes 12 hours before you come home, and the dog don't have any water because they knocked it over.
Okay. Now, another thing that is kind of dealing with the animal control ordinance, do you have to have shade over a doghouse or?
You're supposed to have a shelter, a proper shelter where the dog can get inside and be able to stand up and turn around. Be
Okay.
the best way to determine the proper size for the shelter.
Okay.
The pen's supposed to be at least a 10 by 10 feet.
Okay.
10 foot by 10 foot. So, with that, you can string a tarp across the top of the, your gate, your fence in area, your dog pen. That would provide even more additional shelter. Because really in the summer months, you don't want them inside the doghouse without no shade. There's no wind blowing.
Right.
So you want to give it some type of additional cover where it can get a breeze.
Unless you install an air conditioner or a fan in that little
And
doghouse.
we do have some that have a little doghouse
Right.
with air conditioning.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, that's good things for people to take in consideration over the summer months and even going forward in the winter months, because you want to keep those pets safe just like everybody else.
There are guidelines for the winter months about having a
Okay.
doghouse where it has a covering where it can stop the breeze or whatever, the wind coming in, and also keeping it heated.
Right. Like those little lamps or something like
lamps,
that.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share? Any other little pointers to help folks out over the summer so they don't have Roger coming to visit them or
Yeah,
another person?
We're going to be very proactive in
Okay.
code enforcement this summer, now that some of the pandemic restrictions have been lifted.
Right.
We got the city's trying to apply for certain grants in certain areas, so we're going to be hitting certain areas very hard inside the city
Okay.
to help show and to help us qualify for some of these grants.
Okay. And we definitely depend on those grants to help get some of the work done in these areas. So,
That is true.
and it also helps the citizens.
Yeah,
So-
when they get some of the grants, they can come apply to help get some rehab done to their house.
Right, exactly. Okay, well, if anybody wants to get in contact with you, or if they have any questions about any code enforcement or ordinances, or, if they need to report somebody whose animal doesn't look like it's being properly taken care of, what number should they call or email or anything like
They
that?
can call me at my office at 912-389-3462.
Okay,
Animal control phone number is 912-327-2842.
okay. Now, speaking of the animal control number, what do y'all normally respond to and not respond to when it comes to animal control?
We do not deal with wildlife.
Okay.
Unless it's an emergency situation. Normally it's just the dogs and cats and domesticated animals.
Okay,
If you have problems with, snakes or such as that, or you have issues with rodents, possums and such as that, you're really supposed to call an exterminator or someone that's licensed through the Department of Natural Resources to trap wildlife.
okay. So if you do have a possum in your house, you probably need to call DNR to come trap it.
Well, or somebody that's licensed through the...
Or somebody that's licensed, there you go. Okay. All right, well, Roger, I appreciate you being on here. Thank you.
Anything else I can do, just give me a call.
Okay, all right. And we'll be right back after this. Welcome back, and that's going to be the end of our Douglas on My Mind show for the month of May, and I hope that you take the time out and visit downtown Douglas the first Saturday in June. We're going to have a lot of events going on, and we hope that you come and see us.